Welcome to the REI Foundation Podcast, where we cover all the steps and strategies to make your real estate dreams a reality. Now your hosts, Jason and Peely.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the REI Foundation Podcast with Jason and Peely. Today, we have the pleasure of having a great guest with us today, Andy McFarland of Treehouse Investments. Andy, thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Jason. I've been jockeying to be on this for like months now. Finally, you let me in. I got past the gate.
We had to beg him. Andy's quite a busy person. I think you closed about 3,000 deals just last week. Is that?
Oh my goodness, 3,001. No, but thank you though. I appreciate it.
Good. Well, we'd love to hear a little bit more about who you are, what you're up to, and just tell everybody a little bit more about your process.
Yeah. How far back do you want me to go?
Why don't you go present day, and then we can get back to a little bit further on where you started and the steps you took to build the awesome team and system you have in place.
Yeah. Okay. Present day. So I have a few different businesses, but the one most people care about, what you guys are probably talking about, is buying and selling houses. So wholesaling and retail flipping, which we're putting money into and flipping houses. That's what I do. Do that in 3 different states. Last year we did just over 240 deals, 245 deals. A portion of those were flips. But that was in 3 different states: Utah, New Mexico, and Indiana. And I say that and it sounds impressive because most people are hearing that are like, oh my gosh, I did 3 deals or whatever. But that was just them. I have an awesome team of people that's helping me do that. So it's not just me. I actually touch the deals less now than I did years ago. If you take me back in the time machine if you want to talk about that stuff that I did previously. But I touch deals less, but I do more deals now because I've got an awesome team of people helping me do it every step of the way. So everything that real estate investors, anybody listening to this, does in their business, I've been there, done that. And now there's people on my team who specialize in each one of those individual processes, if you will. So that's how I'm able to amplify my time and do more deals. It's just through delegation, really.
Let's talk about that more, your processes. So how did you create these systems and processes that you currently use?
One step at a time. It really evolved from me years ago. Probably, I don't know. I've been doing real estate for almost 15 years. Got into it the way most people do. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. It was a paradigm shifter, but it was not a great real estate book, but it kind of taught me the paradigm of passive income and all that stuff. So I started, real estate's the method there. So I started buying, fixing, selling houses at rental properties, but it was all just me, right? Because I can't afford to have anybody else. It's just me, right? So I did that until one day I kind of had this, I guess I had the epiphany where it was like, what if I could have somebody help me with these things that I'm not very good at? In fact, I want to take credit for it, but I really didn't have credit for it. I had a person that was a bookkeeping company. They sent me a piece of marketing in the mail. And I was interested in that marketing because I was interested in direct response marketing at the time. So I called them not because I wanted their bookkeeping services, because I was the best bookkeeper in the world. Right?
Yeah, of course. Yep.
But I called them just because I was curious about the mail they sent me. It was not just a letter. It was a creative mail piece. It was called lumpy mail. If you've ever seen those before, it was a tube that when you opened the tube, there was 3D glasses in it. So I pulled out the 3D glasses, and then you pull out the piece of paper in the tube, and it was one of those eye games. And when you put on the 3D glasses, you can read it clearly. And it had some little kid that said not seeing your business clearly or something like that, right? So I called the person there, not to subscribe for their bookkeeping services, just to ask them, hey, this is creative marketing. Where did you get this done? I just kind of give them the attaboys and the props. So that's what I did. But they were good on the other end of the phone. They answered the phone and they spun me into a meeting and they said, hey, let's talk. So I said, great. Went to lunch with them, and the owner of the company and a bookkeeper met me there. And we talked about my specific needs, and they were good. They listened to me. Good business practices, right? They listened and they said, hey, look, what would your business look like if you didn't have to spend the time doing the stuff in your books? So I said, okay, right? I agree. They twisted my arm. I agree. So I hired them as bookkeepers. So that was the first thing I let go in my business. I wasn't coming home from lunch anymore with my receipt and entering into QuickBooks anymore, right? I finally let that go. And when I let that go, they were so much better at it than me, right? And it was just so much, it freed up my time. So 100% of my time was spent doing stuff. That freed up 20% of my time. I can use that 20% to do something else in my business. And then, so I gave that piece up. And then I realized I hate project management. I was running around to all projects like real estate investors do: Home Depot, Lowe's, meeting contractors, negotiating stuff, cutting the grass if need be, right? I'll do anything, not valuing my time at all. So the next stage was I had a project manager. I said, okay, look here, you do this, right? So bookkeeper went, project manager went. And then I realized I hate answering the phone. I hired somebody to answer the phones. I started taking those phone calls. And then I realized I hate putting together marketing. So I hired somebody to put together marketing. So the phone keeps ringing. And then I thought my sacred cow was I loved seeing sellers. And I do love sellers. I love helping people and listening to people and solving their problems. But I realized that can be outsourced too. There are people better at it than me. because although I can be there and absorbed in sellers' lives, I can probably do 8-10 appointments a week. But what if I can't serve 50 sellers a week if I'm the bottleneck there? So I outsourced that as well, had people go see sellers. And it's just grown from there. 1 sales rep, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sales management, transaction coordination. My goodness, guys, there's so much with transaction coordination. So there's all of these things. So the team just kind of grew organically, right? Organically, like a cancer. It just
exploded. Yeah.
Yeah, exploded. But that's what it was. The whole thought process is, well, Andy, where do I begin? Begin with the thing that you're not very good at, or that you don't like doing. Start with that, or start with the low value tasks. What can I hire out at $12 an hour? Yeah. And you think, well, I can't afford that right now. Well, I would tell you can't afford not to do that, because if you want to make $50 an hour, but you're stuck doing $12 an hour job, you'll never make 50. And people say, I want to make $1 million. We'll take $1 million divided by 2,000 working hours in a year, right? And that's $500 an hour, I think. Yeah. So if you want to make $1 million a year and you're doing $12 an hour jobs, you're deluding yourself. Like, it's not going to happen. So that's how you do it.
Yeah. Thank you for that piece of advice. We were just talking about answering phones, and just to give you a clue, just as we came onto this, my phone rang at least 3 times, and I have not hired somebody to answer the phones yet. So
we've been through the metamorphosis of we've hired people and not fun apart, but we're all guilty of it. How are we ever going to find someone to do this role? Because I'm always the best one of it until I find someone to do it, and I
don't have enough money to do it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then it's tough, because it's like, how am I going to find somebody to do this? And it enters in training them, and enters in management, because you've got to manage people. Delegation is great. You get it done, but you've got to manage that person. Management is getting things done through other people. Right. So it adds other layers of stuff, but it's worth it, because it gets you more time, right? Correct. Management is just leveraging your time, doing things to other people, and also giving the other people an opportunity to do what they're good at. You're robbing people of an opportunity to do something if you're doing it when you shouldn't be. So think of it that way too. Yeah, Peely.
That's a good way to think about it. Now, I was going to say, so when you say, like, you hired your not transaction coordinator, but your acquisitions manager, the thing you love doing most.
Yes.
How did you just walk us through, like, how you train your people?
Yeah. Well, it depends on the person. Depends on some of them. I've not been the best trainer in the world. Sometimes we'll just throw them into the deep end and let them swim. And I do believe that actually you find the right person that's good, that has the right attitude, and then you can train them on the tasks. But if they have the wrong attitude and they're good at the tasks, then that's definitely, and that's not a good thing. But I'm a big believer in that. You find the right person and put them on the bus and get them on the bus. And if they're in the wrong seat, we can move them in different seats, but they're going to learn through just doing. Like, how did you learn how to do anything, right? How did you learn how to answer the phone with real estate? You just do it. You got thrown into it. You answer 100 phone calls, and all of a sudden you're better at it. You've got your own process and system for that. So it's the idea of bringing in the right person, and then give them some instruction, cut their learning curve a little bit, but say, here you go. Mm-hmm. The best way to answer phones is by answering phones. So go do it. And they're going to make mistakes, right? I've got a son who's 10 months old right now. He's starting to crawl and he's falling, and we've all learned it. We all see it. Thank you. And I know you guys have a young baby, but you can see that process in them. But that's how it is for all of us, and that's for all of our employees and people. You need to let them make mistakes, let them fail, because they're going to learn through that, and they're going to ultimately be better because of that. So how did I train? It's different for every person I train. The acquisition manager specifically, though, my first acquisition manager was a good person, had some good sales background already, had no real estate experience. So I brought them in. I said, they want appointments with me. So they went on like 4 appointments with me. So they just watched me, just a shadow on my back, right? I was talking to the sellers, doing everything I do, being genuine with them, and asking questions and everything, but I had a real estate element to it. So I was doing that, and I would, get a contract or not get a contract, right? Do that. So after 4 appointments, I was like, what do you think? And they're like, I'd have done it this way, but yeah, I mean, I can do that. So there was a time, literally like the 5th appointment, had to come back to an appointment we were just on. And I also needed to be at another appointment across town. So the sales rep said, I'll go to the one across town. You go back to the one we're at. And we both did. We divided and conquered on that 5th appointment. I went back over here, went back for the 2nd appointment that night, locked it up, got the contract. They went over here, got the contract, and that was it. That was
nice.
Last one. And they developed their own style, right? I gave them room to make mistakes, but said, here's the desired result, and here's the best method I think you should go about doing it. But I gave them autonomy and liberty to go and kind of do it the way they're going to do it. Because I don't want them to be me. I don't want my salesperson to try to be me, mimic me, talk like me, act like me. I want them to be them. So it's genuine, comes off right. So the seller feels that. The seller will open up to them, tell them their problem so they can take that problem and say, here's a solution we can provide. We allow us to help you. And to the extent that the seller that we do that, then that's why we do business. We're solving people's problems.
And I would say one of the most important points you said there is that you got your appointment and listened. It's you see a lot of these people, or even just on general first steps, that you think that the most important thing is you got to get in there and get the bottom dollar price, and just that's all it's about. Just get in there and get the bottom dollar price, and you're good. But there's so many other different ways that you can tackle this opportunity that can create it can create good faith and also really help both sides.
Yeah,
I know for you, that's a really big part, is that finding a way to help the other party.
Yeah, can you kind of explain your mindset on that?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the mindset across all things. Everything in life is sales, really, right? If you're trying to sell your kids on eating their broccoli, if you're trying to sell anything, right? So everything is sales, but sales it's the way, it's just helping people. So if you can go in and listen to somebody and they know that you care about them and you understand their needs, because how can I help you with your needs if I don't understand your needs, right?
Yeah.
And you understand somebody's needs by listening to them. But you got to ask them questions too, right? A little bit of questions that kind of get them to open up and talk to you. But as you listen, and not just listening for the words, but listen a little deeper to that, like what they're saying and like the feeling behind the words and like their body language and everything, you can kind of see if they're being straight with you, and you can probe a little deeper if you're seeing some emotion there, but they're not saying anything. You could say something like, "Peely, it looks like you're getting this. I hit a nerve with you here. There's something there. What's going on?" Right? Yeah. They can tell that I cared because I read their body language, and they're going to like, "Wow, he was perceptive of that. And he actually cares. He's asking a deeper question." They might open up to that. As I ask follow-up questions with that, it's building rapport because you can tell I care about you. And we're going to get to the bottom of this true thing. And then you're finally going to say, "Well, Andy, here's the thing. Ugh.
This is what I need."
Wow. So you're telling me, Peely, this. So that's what's going on here. Yes, Andy, that's what's going on here. Okay. So if we could find a way to help that, is that really it? That's really it. Okay. Well, let's find a way to work that out, right? And you come and you offer a solution that solves their problem, and because you understood their problem first. And at the end of that, you can say, "Can I help you with this? Will you let me help you with this? Here's what we can do. Here's a way I can help you." Absolutely, right? And then that's in our business, it's the form of signing a contract so you can help them with it. But if you take that approach with people, it's drastically different than what you described, Jason. Somebody going, they're trying to find the bottom dollar. I love going in behind that guy though, because he just makes me look good. In contrast, they see the darkness that comes there, and they see the light that comes on the other side, and they're like, "Well, this person is different." And even if I don't walk out of there with the contract, hopefully I've understood them, given them psychological air, so they feel like somebody's listened to them, and I've made their life better as a result of that. And more often than not, they will allow me to help them rather than somebody else. Even if a price was different, they would probably allow me to help them because of the experience they had. I would hope.
Well, and you're also helping them, where the other person, it may be one-sided.
Correct. And people can feel that. Can't we always feel that? If somebody's got our best interest in mind, or if somebody's just trying to take us for a ride, we know that. We're tuned for that. Yeah. We know.
So how many deals did you do again last year?
I do. Last year we, and like 240.
240. So you actually, we as in real estate, we always talk about the deal, but like really, Andy McFarland helped 240 people. It wasn't Absolutely. Like you didn't do 240 deals. You helped 240 Absolutely. People.
And I would say
that's an amazing accomplishment.
There was 240 people whose sellers' lives who were affected that I would say we helped. There's probably 240. Well, we didn't wholesale all of them, but there's many buyers whose life we helped because of the skills and abilities our company has. And I would also say that my company, the people in the company, it wasn't Andy McFarland, it was in that home, right? Mm-hmm. But I try to teach my people that stuff that we just talked about there so that they can go and have that ripple effect and help more people. Because I physically could not have gone and signed and sat with 240 sellers. It just wasn't possible. But to the extent that I can train and have this thing that we're talking about here, impact one of my sales reps to go and have that impact on somebody's life, then that have that ripple effect. I can help more people that way. And I'm also helping not only the seller, but I'm helping that sales rep and helping the buyers. So there's just this chain effect of good. And I think if you're going out there to do good in the world, you can call it karma. You can call it Heavenly Father. I choose to call it Heavenly Father. But those things, you're calling good to come in the world, and whatever you put out in the world is going to come back to you.
Yeah, you put out light, you receive light.
I think so.
That's perfect.
Andy's got the fast talk pace like we do here on the East Coast, so I like I keep up with it.
Guilty.
All right, he's in Utah, but
I'm guilty.
You're not from New York.
I am guilty. No? I am guilty. Fast talker.
To sort of take us in another direction, we talk a lot about our own, like our big why. And like how it affects us, how it affects our families. So what's your big why, Andy?
This is a deep, deep question, right? Deep question. I've thought a little, I've thought a lot about this over the years. I've thought a little about it recently, because I do okay financially, where I'm okay, but there's people in my company that aren't. I'm going to get me emotional here. They're people that I can affect, sellers' lives, buyers' lives, but there's people that work with me that are like they're not necessarily okay, and it's not just financially; it's just like everything, right? So I want to be able to have an impact on them, their lives, financially, spiritually, temporally, all of that stuff, and give them growth opportunities through what they do here. So I would love to be able to have an impact, not only on sellers and on buyers, but on people that I work with, to give them opportunities to thrive through the things that I've learned. So there are things we're doing with the company now that I want to have that impact, and not so much that it's going to make me more money, but more that I can like give them a place to thrive. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a goal just a goal that we all should have, really. I mean, just to not only impact the lives of the people we work with, or the people like we try to help, but the people we work with. I mean, that's wow. Yeah. I'm just going to say wow again.
And you've taken it part of just how important it is that you just have the opportunity to be able to manage your time in the way you do, and just, if you wanted to take off tomorrow and be with the kids, or you wanted to be able to, but just to see when other people don't have that opportunity, if someone in their family may be sick, but they're stuck, that they have to work because they have no other option, that they're stuck at that task, even though something so much greater and so much more important is happening, but they can't be at that or involved in that because they're stuck just trying to maybe make it through their day.
Yeah. And we are all impacted by the people that are around us. We've heard before, the 5 closest people to you, are the average of those 5 people. Well, fortunately and unfortunately for us, fortunately and unfortunately, like work is where most people spend 90% of their waking hours, right? So if your work family is toxic, then that's just gonna make you more toxic. So I want the culture. I want everybody through our company to like feel empowered, feel like they're growing and learning, and in whatever job that they're doing there. That's great, and we'll see how they are a piece of the greater whole, and that through that they can also be impacted by good people that are also working with them, right? So to me, there's more than just financial. If you run a company that way, right? It's big nowadays, right? The Zappos thing, and like the making people feel good about like where they work and everything. And there's that, but that's the impacting the lives of people, or impacting the lives of the people that not only the customers you serve, but the people you work with. There's value in that. There's value. Obviously, you do a good company, you've got a good culture, right? So you can make more money. But it's also like good culture. What if you don't make more money? But what if you have a good culture that you have somebody that works with you for the next 10 years, and they look back at 10 years from now and say, thank you so much, because my life is enriched because of the opportunity to serve people through what we do here. Like that right there, like that just makes you feel like that would be awesome, right? And I think you can do both. I think you can, through doing that, you'll be a better company, better culture, and you will make more money. But that right there, I'm thinking so when I ask myself what I want for the next 5-10 years, how can I create an environment and put things through that filter? Are the decisions we're making now going to better everybody in the company? Mm-hmm. It's not just a thing of it's going to make me more money, right? Let's expand so I make more money. Let's do this so I make more money. I want to do things so that if we want to expand, maybe we expand so that we can serve more people within our company, right? So that people can have a great opportunity, right? It's not so much, it's financial, but it's like, it's other treasures. And if you're religious people talking about treasures in heaven, right? There's a level of that, right? And what you put out into the world, you get back, right? And in Christianity, they talk about that idea of your treasures in heaven. Lay not for your store treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and thieves do not break through the steel. That whole idea, right? Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things should be added unto you. And even if you're not a Christian, or if you don't, but if you do believe in some higher power, you can call it karma, but that's the treasure, the karma you're coming back to. Because money is like, if you know anybody that's got money, and I think all of us have met some people who have money, that doesn't make them happy. They chase that, and even if they get $100 million and they think I'm happy now, they're not, right? It just makes them more of what they already are. So if you're not happy without money, you won't be happy with money. But there's things that we're all seeking that significance, right? And it's not so much the success of like the money, it's the significance of like, did you impact somebody's life? Because at the end of the day, when you die, how much are you going to leave?
Yeah.
All of it,
yes.
Right? But you get to take with you your experiences and who you are and your character and the impact you had on other people's lives, right? So that right there, and don't get me wrong, I'm not this gazillionaire, right? But I think to myself, I hope I've already grasped it at this age. Like, I'm not looking for a gazillion dollars. I want to have an impact because that means more, right?
Yeah,
I work
it's your
with my
legacy,
brother.
right?
Yeah.
So it's
Kind of a legacy, right? But my legacy, I don't need that. When people think legacy, I'm thinking this guy's a billionaire.
Yeah.
Oh, legacy of like when when your funeral comes, who's going to show up there and what are they going to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of a legacy, right?
It sounds like, and we've had many discussions about systems and everything, and this thank you for that. Just what you just said, because it sounds like you've built this, like these amazing systems and this amazing business to look for opportunities to serve people.
Right. Both sellers, buyers,
just everyone,
and people in the company, right?
Yeah.
And that's the mindset when people come to me and say, like, how do you get these people to work for you? Or why don't they just go do this themselves? They can, but like I really take the same mindset with them. I don't see the people I work with as units of production. I see them as smart, capable people that could go do this for anybody else. But I try to sell them on the fact of, guys, if you come here, 1 + 1 is 10, like that's the energy idea. Right. And it's not just like talk. It's like, no, you come here and let's all put our energies together and we can make something better together. Not only can we serve these people better, we'll serve ourselves internally better. And by the way, we can be our own 5 people or 10 people, right? We can be like people that are influencing each other for the good. And we can be so much better together than just divided apart. And so that's kind of the idea that's how I think about these things. And it's not like it's something I've read in a management book to conjure up to try to manipulate people. It just comes from like, I truly feel that way with people. I do not view anybody that works with me. You notice the language I say, they work with me. I don't call people employees. This person works for me. That feels wrong to me, right? They work with me. This is the person I work with. Here's where they go, right? That's just kind of like how
that sounds right.
Yeah, it just sounds right.
So, Jason, when are we moving to Utah?
Come on down.
It's funny. I've always had I've never been to Albuquerque, but funny enough, that's the one spot that I keep bringing up just about random things. Where do you want to go? Well, let's just go to Albuquerque. I've said that for years, never being there for no.
I've never been either.
Right?
I've never been to Albuquerque either. I hear it's beautiful though. I keep saying, joking, that in October they have a balloon festival that everybody talks about. So I'm thinking we should go to the Albuquerque Balloon Festival in October because I hear it's amazing. Buy hotter balloons, right?
We're there.
We're in.
That would be cool.
Let's figure out what it is and schedule.
Maybe that's the next 7-figure flipping meeting. We'll go take everyone to Albuquerque in October.
You know what? Since you mentioned 7-figure flipping, I wanted to actually talk to you about, because the reason why we have Andy on this show in the first place is because we want to get our mentors, our own personal mentors and our personal coaches. And Andy has been instrumental. I mean, I have no words to describe like how instrumental Andy has been in my life and in Jason's life in expanding our business. I actually just recently joined, Jason and I just recently joined something called 7-figure flipping. And that's actually part of the house flipping formula family. And maybe Andy, you can describe more about this.
Yeah, sure. 7-figure flipping is just a mastermind. It kind of expands on that element we talked about, the 5 closest people to you. Well, what if you had 30, 40, 50 people close to you that were all in the same mindset of wanting to grow their business? And that's kind of what the 7-figure flipping mastermind is about. Certainly, me and Justin and a couple of the people are mentors and kind of leaders in that group. But the group is powerful because of the group. It's because of the people in the group, right? That's what it is. That's what you find. It's not so much about, well, what's Andy going to teach me today? There's a little bit of tips and tricks and tactics, but mostly you're surrounded by these amazing people on the same journey with you. They're varying levels of their business, and we're all trying to progress in that, but helping each other through that. So that's what 7-figure flipping is. And you mentioned it's part of the house flipping formula family. House flipping formula is kind of a program for like people that want to learn how to get into house flipping. People think like, oh, I'd love to get into wholesaling, retail flipping. How do you do all of that? Well, that's kind of the questions you get asked all the time, kind of the 101, if you will. How do you comp properties? What's earnest money? Just how do I talk to sellers? Things like that. So I love talking with people. I wish I could take everyone in the world that cares about real estate one-on-one and talk to them for a full day and give them the whole thing. But it's not possible, and they probably get sick of hearing from me. So with house flipping formula, it's recorded. We've got these modules they go through that they can put pause, go get a drink if they want to, and then come back and hit play or rewatch it again. And they can kind of get those base level of information. And grow from there. And it's very affordable, extremely affordable for anybody. And also there's that portion. There's the active portion of house flipping formula. It's got the Facebook forum where you can ask live questions of peer to peer. And also I'm in there, and there's some other people that are in there too. So that's house flipping formula. And then 7-figure flipping is just, hey, I've been through the 101s. I want to grow this business. I want to hear about how I can make this thing go multi-million dollars and take it to the next level. And that's what that's about. So
nice. So going from there, who are your mentors?
Good questions. Is anything off limits here?
Nope.
I read a lot. I mean, a lot. Like I read probably 15 books a year, but the books I read, and it's been no mystery in House of McFarland, but I read the scriptures, Old Testament, New Testament. I'm LDS. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So the Book of Mormon, Doctrine and Covenants, Pearl of Great Price. So my mentors are, every morning I'm reading, I fill my day first with reading the scriptures. I'm going through the Old Testament and the Doctrine and Covenants right now. So I fill my day with that. So I like to think that I'm Christian. So I like to pattern my life after the Savior. And if people can't, like Jesus Christ, if they can't tell by watching me that I'm trying to model my life after the Savior, then there's something wrong with my life. So that's the first thing I try to put in. I know this isn't like a spiritual show or anything, but that's the honest truth. Like I try to put that in first. And then beyond
that, we are about morning rituals. So
morning rituals. There you go. So
this is
good segue, right?
That great way to
good
start
segue.
Get the mindset correct.
So for our mentors, I start my day with that. So that is my number one mentor. Like I would love to emulate, obviously, the most perfect example in the world of my Savior. So that's the number one thing. I fill my mornings with that, and then I'll go on my morning ritual in a second. But I also read things like inspirational books, like Tony Robbins stuff, Jim Rohn stuff. I can show the books behind me.
Yep.
Darren Hardy. There's all those books. I like to fill my mind with positive things. Anytime I hear somebody who is where I want to be and they mention a book, I get it and I read it and I try to just add all those positive things in my life. So it's a function of who are my mentors. And I do have physical mentors and stuff too, but the books that are anything that's positive, I want to put in my life. So I want to limit and eliminate the negative and fill it up with the positive. That's what I try to do.
Limit and eliminate the negative. I like
Well,
that.
it's true that to the extent that you've only got 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you're sleeping part of that time. So if you're spending your time doing negative things, the secret to life, the success is really just stop doing the negative things, the bad habits, do less bad things and fill it with good things, right? Because nature abhors a vacuum, right? It means it's going to fill it with something. So if you're doing something that's bad, don't just stop doing the bad. It's easier to stop doing the bad if you fill it with something good, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're diet and exercise type of thing. If you're eating donuts, stop eating the donuts, eat good things, but then go run. So the more you run, you won't want to feel like eating donuts anymore, right? It's just that idea. It really helps you stick with those new and healthy habits. So yeah, I like to try to do things that if it's not a good thing for me, if it's not adding positivity to my life and to the life of others, let's eliminate that. Let's add the positive things that are good for me and good for others and just move forward with that. And here's another quote I love from, I think it was John Maxwell, but he said, you'll never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. Again, you'll never change something in your life until you change what you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. If you don't do something today about it, it's not going to happen. So change things in your daily routine and your life will change as a result of that. So
it's funny in the few of these we've done, just the constant through line is people just replacing bad habits with good habits and really just starting their day in the right way and how important that is, especially if people are finding success in, their life, their spirituality, their success in their business. And it's really uncanny how pretty much throughout that line is where people are saying it's the habits, it's the buildup of the habits and the constant flow of habits from bad to good that really makes it stand out in their day.
It's basic, right? It's just you'll never change your life until you change something new daily. Just secret of success found in your daily routine. That's really what it is. And Ralph Waldo Emerson says, sow a thought and you reap an action. So an act and you reap a habit. So a habit and you reap a character. And so a character and you reap a destiny. It goes from your thoughts to your actions, to your habits, to your character, to your destiny. That's really what it is, right? But it all starts with the first thought that turns into an act, which turns into a habit. So it's just controlling that. And how do you control your thoughts? Well, who are you allowing to talk to you? Are you letting the TV talk to you? Are you reading the tabloids? Or are you talking to people who are positive people who are where you want to be? Are you listening to them? Are you listening to books? Or are you putting things into your mind from people that you trust, from good authors or good podcasts or whatever that are going to be good for you, right? Because those are the thoughts you're sowing in your mind. And those will produce your acts, habit, character, and eventual destiny if you're a believer in afterlife and all those things. And that's absolutely where I want to be. So I want to control the things that come in. It's just that simple. It starts with just the things you're putting in. Be aware of those because they have an effect on your life.
Sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you just answered my last question. It was going to be words to live by. And I think this entire podcast has been one huge word to live by.
I agree.
Well, I thank you
so much, Andy. Do you have anything else you want to add? Actually, you know what? If people want to talk to you or if or if they want more information, how can they find you?
How can they find me? God, goodness, that's a good question. I mean, I am obviously in the house flipping formula forums and like something flipping forums, but that's,
I was going to say sending direct mail with sunglasses that you can find the message. It's probably
certainly right. Yeah. Certainly, there's definitely a lesson in that too if you want to get to people. But so I'm definitely around the house flipping formula stuff. As you guys may or may not know, I had a podcast. Not a podcast. I had a YouTube channel that we're still kind of deciding what's going to go on with that. But I love real estate stories. So if you go to YouTube, I love real estate stories. We've got 3 years worth of just hilarity. My brother and I just did videos and it was fun. So we do that. And then, there's contact stuff there, but that's probably it. That's kind of where I am, where I live.
That's great. I'll have that. I'll have those in the show notes.
Awesome.
Thank you again so much, Andy. Everyone, this is Andy McFarland. And
thank you very much for signing off.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning into the REI Foundation podcast. Check back next time for more awesome tips and strategies to launch your new you in real estate.